liberal media screws up again. President Trump demanding NBC fire anchor Chuck Todd after his show Meet the Press deceptively edited Attorney General Bill Barr's remarks on General Flynn. Watch.
Well, history's written by the winner, so it largely depends on who's writing the history.
I was struck, Peggy, by the cynicism of the answer. It's a correct answer, but he's the Attorney General. He didn't make the case that he was upholding the rule of law. He was almost admitting that, yeah, this is a political job.
But here's Bill Barr's full response.
Well, history's written by the winner, so it largely depends on who's writing the history. But I think a fair history would say it was a good decision because it upheld the rule of law.
NBC later apologized for the dishonest editing on Twitter. So, Juan Williams, you've got some journalistic chops. Meet the Press, the pristine Meet the Press on Sunday for NBC. How bad is this?
It's bad. They made a mistake. I don't think there's any question about that. I think if you listen to the full statement made by the Attorney General, he clearly says it was about upholding the rule of law in his opinion. But here's the thing, Jesse. They acknowledged the mistake, and then they corrected it. And we all make mistakes in the business of journalism. I think the problem comes in when people either try to deny it or try to hide it. And in this case, NBC did neither. They admitted it and they owned up to it. So to my mind, what I get troubled by is the idea that, and I think you said this to me last week. You said, hey, you know what, winners write their history. Okay, and even if you think that in the current writing under Bill Barr that somehow justice has been upheld, I think it's important to note that when it comes to matters of law, what happens when people testify, when they admit to guilt in court twice on 2 occasions, it matters. No matter if you're the winner or loser, facts, admissions of guilt should matter, as should evidence introduced. But apparently, that didn't matter to a man who was supposed to run our justice system.
Well, I think it was Obama's own AG, Eric Holder, that dismissed a case of perjury against a Republican senator, Mr. Stevens. But that's neither here nor there. Greg, Juan says this is a mistake, but all of these mistakes keep making the president look bad. So is it really a mistake again?
Yeah, they all go in the same direction. So it's true. The media, everybody makes mistakes. We can forgive that. But when they uniformly go in one direction, something's wrong. So when people gripe about Trump being obsessed with the media, he's only doing the job that the media won't do. You know, they don't actually police. Would they have apologized if they weren't caught? And I'm wondering, part of the great thing about social media is that there's a lot of little police officers out there who've had it, who see that the media is broken and are holding their feet to the fire. I personally think Chuck Todd has blood on his hands. That's what he said. Remember he said that last week?
Tim Russert would never make a mistake like this.
Yeah, remember, yes, he suggested Trump had blood on his hands, last week? So he, tit for tat.
Dagan?
4 years of peddling a phony Russia collusion fable, and now some networks are like, we're not even talking about it. Let's move on. Why are you talking about the Flynn case? I can't believe they're trying to. My mother always used to ask, why do those people on those other networks always look like they're smelling something? Well, I can say definitively to her now it's because they've been hacking up for years a bunch of hot garbage, and the air must be rancid.
And we'll finish with you, Dana. It looks like this interview was done on Thursday with CBS and Bill Barr, and on Sunday, Meet the Press ran it. So that's 3 days they had to make sure this was right.
Yeah. Yeah, and to Greg's point about social media, it's like all these people out there are able to make citizens arrests now over the internet if they see something wrong. And I don't think NBC would have apologized if they hadn't been called out for it. I do think, though, that I felt bad for Peggy Noonan. I know Peggy, I haven't talked to her about this, but what a position to put her in. If you're the anchor of the show and your producers put your contributor in a position like that, that's really wrong as well. And I would imagine she probably wasn't too happy either.
Yeah, he really set her up. And I checked, and the Five's ratings are better than Meet the Press's by almost 1 million viewers. Just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. And we're on cable.